Hello to all of you, my lovely students in the 9th grade. How are you today? Welcome back to my English lessons. It's me, your English teacher, Iman Al-Jafari at Al Farouk Academy. In our lesson today, we are going to start with another part of Gustav's email to the festival committee. As you know, Gustav wrote this email to the festival committee about the music program. So, in this lesson, students should be able to read another part of the text and identify the main ideas, define the meanings of some words and phrases, answer some questions related to the text. In our previous lessons, we started with this email that was written by Gustav. Gustav thinks that the festival committee should include classical music in the next festival, not pop music. Why? Because he thinks that classical music is better than any other type of music. He told us that classical music is called like this because it stands the test of time. It lasts for a long time. Next, Gustav said that if the festival committee wants to attract a large number of people or audience, they must choose classical genre or classical type. Why? Because with the classical music, we have different types of music, composers, instruments, and orchestras. So by choosing this type of music, there are many things to choose from. Then, Gustav describes the audience for classical music as an educated group of people. They will understand, value, and appreciate other arts forms such as ballet and art exhibitions. So if you want to attract a large number of people, these people must be educated and experienced to understand other arts forms. Okay? And now, let's start with the fourth paragraph in order to know more about Gustav's main point of view. So listen carefully to this paragraph.
The field of classical music contains outstandingly talented musicians. It must be clear to everyone that this is what we need in order to establish a good musical reputation for the festival. I am in a unique position to help here. My uncle conducts a small London-based chamber orchestra. I asked him if he would be able to bring his orchestra to our festival, and he said he would. This is very exciting. The orchestra is well known internationally and has had some exceptionally good reviews recently. I'm attaching some photos taken at the Berlin Festival. I've got some recordings you can listen to as well.
So the field of classical music contains outstandingly talented musicians. All the musicians who perform classical music are talented. Gustav describes these musicians as talented. What do you mean by outstandingly here? Outstandingly means excellent, extraordinarily. It must be clear to everyone that this is what we need in order to establish a good musical reputation for the festival. So to establish a good fame for the festival, we need to attract talented musicians. إذا فكرة لجوستاف إنه حتى إحنا نأسس سمعة موسيقية جيدة لمهرجاننا لازم نجذب موسيقيين يكونوا موهوبين who are classical musicians. Okay? I am in a unique position to help here. How could Gustav help in this situation? His uncle conducts a small London-based chamber orchestra. Look at these two photos. He is his uncle. Okay, so his uncle is a conductor, قائد فرقة موسيقية. So I asked him if he would be able to bring his orchestra to our festival. Gustav, the pronoun I refers to Gustav, asked his uncle if he would be able to bring his orchestra to our festival. So what was his uncle reply? He said, yes, I would. This is very exciting. The orchestra is well known internationally, so my uncle's orchestra is well known or famous internationally and has had some exceptionally good reviews. What do you mean by exceptionally? Exceptionally means especially they have good fame or good reputation recently. I am sending or attaching some photos. Here we have two photos that were sent with this email to the festival committee. I refers to Gustav. I am sending you some photos taken at the Berlin Festival. I've got some recordings too you can listen to as well. So Gustav sent two photos with this email and some recordings of his uncle orchestra in order to convince the festival committee to choose this type of music, not pop music. Okay? The first question. What does Gustav's uncle do and how could he help in the festival? What does his uncle do? He is excellent. He is a conductor. His uncle conducts a small London-based chamber orchestra. How could he help in the festival? He would be able to bring his orchestra to the festival and he can perform classical music in the festival. Okay? What does the pronoun him refers to? I asked him if he would be able to bring his orchestra. So him, he refers to excellent Gustav's uncle. And now listen carefully to the last paragraph about classical music.
Finally, it is important to point out that a classical repertoire is essential for all school students as part of their general education, and especially in helping them to develop a truly discerning taste in music. More than 70% of students in this school play an orchestral instrument, and they will benefit enormously from seeing professional orchestras perform live.
So the last point Gustav said about classical music, finally it's important to point out that classical repertoire is essential for all the school students. So Gustav said that classical repertoire, what do you mean by classical repertoire? All the musical pieces within this type of music, المخزون الكلاسيكي, is essential or important or necessary for the school students. As a part of their general education, the pronoun there here refers to excellent. Here we have the pronoun there. It refers to the school students. So the pronoun there refers to the school students. As a part of their general education and especially in helping them, we have the pronoun them. Them refers to again the school students. So the classical repertoire helps students to develop a truly discerning taste in music. What do you mean by discerning? Discerning means excellent, able to recognize a good quality of something. So by listening to classical music, this helps our students to develop their discerning taste in music. يعني السماع إلى الموسيقى الكلاسيكية يطور الذوق الموسيقي لطلابنا. Okay, again, what do you mean by discerning? Our students will be able to recognize the good quality of music. Okay, more than 70% of students in school play an orchestral instrument. So Gustav said that in our school, what percentage of students, شو نسبة الطلاب who play an orchestral instrument? They are more than 70% of students, and they will benefit enormously from seeing professional orchestras perform live. They refers to, they will benefit, they refers to the school students. Okay, هم راح يستفيدوا بشكل كبير from seeing these professional orchestras perform live in our festival. So the last point that Gustav mentioned, watching and listening to classical music is good for whom? for the school students in order to develop their discerning taste حتى يطور ذوقهم الموسيقي and in order to get benefit from seeing these professional orchestras perform live. Okay, the first question. Write down the percentage of school students who play an orchestral instrument. Percentage النسبة المئوية. They are more than 70% of students in this school, in Gustav's school, play an orchestral instrument. أكثر من 70% من طلاب المدرسة بيعزفوا على آلات موسيقية. What does the pronoun they refer to? Here we have they will benefit enormously. The pronoun they here refers to, excellent, it refers to the school students. Any question? Okay, my lovely students, I will stop here today. I hope you did understand